I think we need to redefine and enlighten people about what sexual harassment is. Because we assume everybody knows what is sexual harassment, and people that do actually know. You ogling, like you're looking at me, and you meet me and your eye doesn't look at my face, your eye is on my chest, you're sexually harassing me. If I walk past and you're all whistling at my backside, you're sexually harassing me. If I am uncomfortable, if I have to, like, we had an intern that was she became a staff later, that by virtue of her body proposition, and people were talking about her backside over and over and over. They called it out. They spoke about it behind her, in front of her, because of the way her shape is. What should she do? That is sexual harassment. If you look at me and feel like my outfit I'm putting my chest in your face, and you say it over and over again, it is sexual harassment. If you indicate a proposition me, and I say no, and you continually talk about propositioning me over and over again, you're sexually harassing me, even as a single person. Have I been sexually harassed as a married woman? Yes.
Absolutely.
And that's the audacity of it, like Mariam was saying, was extremely shocking to me, that I went into prayer and fasting, that what would I have done to make this person feel like I'm the sort of person that you would propose that kind of thing to? Like, it was, for me, it was like, like, you know, I'm married. Why would you even consider it? And that is how bad women are having to dodge. I've been pregnant, and I went to eat with my husband, pregnant. Sat down with my husband, we were sitting facing each other. He stood up to go, he said, before he came back, a card was on the table. As in, like, I don't think men understand how annoying it is. Because that's why I say we need to redefine what is sexual harassment. Because when you listen to the response that has been on social media nowadays, he's just joking. He takes everything he's a light-hearted person. That light-hearted comment is making somebody uncomfortable to contribute their best in the office, or contribute their best in whatever they finance. So we need to redefine it, because that was what happened with Me Too movement. When the Me Too movement started, people now realize that some simple comments of, look at you, I'm uncomfortable with it, don't tell me, don't tap me like that.
Okay. Can I quickly use the Violence Against Persons Act, the VAP Act? I always think it's very comprehensive, so I don't bother about other criminal laws on this. The VAP Act defines sexual harassment under Section 46 of the Act as an unwanted conduct of sexual nature or other conduct based on sex or gender which is persistent, serious, and demeans, humiliates, or creates a hostile or intimidating environment. And this may include physical, verbal, or non-verbal conduct. Okay. Now, it puts the burden on you.
On the interpreter.
You have to define what it is exactly. For instance, a person looking at you, in my own language, they even say, why are you looking at me? Is the person that finds trouble. So you have to define what you think is an invasive look. You have to define how the person makes you feel. And you have to define if that look and conduct over time have put you in a position of abuse, or a loss of position, or or demeaned you at a workplace or a public place. You have to be the one to define it, and pray that the discretion of the unbiased mediator, which is the judge or person in this case, buys into what you think. Unfortunately, it might not be. And because Morel also mentioned, when we need to do the balance, where women just play the victim game.
There's that.
I used to have one friend back in the days when we were quite young. When we go to our Muslim community where we used to take tafsir classes, she comes out and says, hey, this is the way that guy looks at me, he likes me. And we all believed her until fast forward, everybody was not getting married. And she was like, no, I wasn't into him. For a long time, because I didn't know what to do. I believed that. And I would say to them when I see them get married, you broke my friend's heart. Well, you're not the one. Me, your friend. Are you okay? So it takes defining.
So Nima, that takes
time.
me to women supporting women parts of this conversation. Because when your friend says, or when somebody says, I've been sexually harassed by that person. Now, as a woman, do I support you blindly without investigating? Or do I go and start asking to be sure it indeed happened? Because as a woman, once I tell Mariam, I expect her to automatically say, we are fighting this together because women are trying to support women. So I've said, Mr. A sexually harassed me. I expect all my friends to back me up. Even if I never mention it to you, it's private to me. So where do we draw the line in supporting blindly or just saying, you know what, we have to first find out to be sure my friend is correct before going ahead?
My take on this is the first thing is to believe whatever you say.
Okay.
And if I find out I'm mistaken, I'm willing to apologize and move on.
Okay.
To the person, yes. So if a person, especially a younger girl, comes to me where I'm seated now and says, I have been sexually propositioned, I feel abused, or I feel harassed by some certain person, I believe them immediately. I do the best to help them resolve it, including investigating or reporting to the authority. I think we'll investigate. If the investigation reveals that the girl was either overthinking things, because you have that in those cases, or that it didn't happen, I would be willing to apologize to the accused person and over time try to redress it, because it also takes a while. I've noticed young men who suffer this, it takes them a while to get back. They'll be like, you see this gender, I don't even want to have anything. Some people just, brush everybody together. But because this is possible, and because the line of the mistake is huge, imagine the young girl just coming out of such a situation and running to you and you say, I beg, you are not the least of me. You have just damaged that.
Let me rephrase. If it's a young woman or a woman who probably has a history of accusing quite a number of people, that, oh, they sexually harassed me, this person, you support her one time. Second time, it was Mr. John. Third time, it was Mr. A. Andrew. Fourth time, it was Mr. And you now see that pattern. Now, again, as a friend, would you still say, I am supporting you regardless, no matter how many times? Or will I still say, because a woman has said it, we must first of all give her that benefit of the doubt and ensure that she gets justice?
Because of how often it has happened to me, and as I started, I told you that sometimes when they tell you how often it happens to someone, you start to believe that the person is lying.
Yes.
But it's just reality. So, yes, I have that where my first inclination is to believe you. But I have seen both sides. I have seen which has happened to a family member, a boy that was accused of something that eventually found out with investigation and everything that was not true. So I know that other side exists. So how would I support immediately? Is that if you meet me, I'm very likely to believe you. You would know that I'll believe you. But the steps we're going to take will now determine, how vocal I become. So if I'm going to now be vocal in support of you, we need to now start talking about evidence. I would say, sis, bring the evidence. Let's talk about it. Give me the circumstantial and whatever evidence. Let's talk about it. I'll rally up other sisters, and we'll sit down, we'll discuss it. We would also talk about, and this is not because I don't believe you, but because we know how this can turn around, we'll look at it in such a way that, please be sure of what has happened. What happened? What did you put aside to defend yourself? Because usually once this thing leaves this circle and goes out, it will be interpreted and misinterpreted anyhow. Tomorrow they'll say, why would she say, did you not see the yellow tiny skirt she wore the other day? They will make a mockery of what it is that you've gone through. So when I sit with you, it will be and ask you questions and one more information. It's not to break you. I mean, for anybody, if this happens, it's not like to shame you. It's just to make sure that when we go out there where they don't believe us, where they want, we don't have any powers, that we are prepared. So I understand when women say to other women, this is how we should do it. I understand that it's not coming from a place of malice. It's just, let's do it in a way that helps you.
I always wonder why we don't lean on it. In that kind of, you're going through a sexual harassment. Why don't you lean on the other sisters for support? Why do we find that difficult to do? Let's go on a short break. When you come back, we continue. Stay with us. We'll be right back.